Playing with temptation, searching for salvation. Can we find our way back, way back? Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back? No more running, no more running, no more chasing. No more running now, I'm running out of patience. Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back, way back? Can we find our way back, way back?
Hello and welcome back to the Valentine Royale. My name is DK. With me is Spancargo. We're going to be taking you through this last day of some pretty exciting PUBG mobile action as we look to see who our final duo team is going to be to take that top slot on the overall leaderboard. Now, Span, already yesterday, we saw some pretty exciting gameplay coming in across our 3 maps. And do you think we're going to be seeing even more of that come into today games?
Span, you're muted.
Hello! I'm so excited I'm speechless, you know? Wow. I was gonna say short answer yes, because we talked about it even yesterday, you know? People are gonna go on ahead and take what they learned from yesterday's games and be able to use it for today's games. I think it's gonna be harder. Just everything. People are going to have learned more, right? And today also, they don't have the same perspective yesterday. Yesterday, they're like, wow, we have 6 whole games to go on ahead and get points. Today, they're like, oh, we only have 3 left. So they need to get points now if there's some of those teams that are closer towards the bottom of that board.
Yeah, and we saw quite a bit of a neck-and-neck fight come through. The finishers really just bringing in an absolutely fantastic strategy to the battlefield. We saw them get those MVP team positions as well as a few interesting MVP player positions. We saw Execute up there. We saw, you know, a really good distribution of players, you know, stepping up to the plate, coming in with those heavy-hitting plays. And I mean, at the end of the day, we did see the players there from the finishers, of course, amounting a grand total of 35 points across those 3 games. So I think today is still going to be pretty much open for the taking, as we were actually talking about this yesterday, as well as there's not a lot of points really separating the top 8 teams currently, and we could very comfortably see that change up going through our 3 games that we have here today. And I'm expecting to see it be extremely challenging as the teams know what is at stake. They know, as you've said, this is going to be the last 3 games. It's now or never.
It is now or never. And even all the way down in 9th place, the team has 15 points. Right now, the top team has 35 points. I mean, technically, if they want to go ahead and get 20 points, that's achievable in a singular game, you know? So, and that's a huge jump. So I feel like maybe even down to 12th has a chance of really going on ahead and jumping up back to the top of that leaderboard. But it really depends on how they're going to be playing these 3 matches today, because it is the last ones. Those teams towards the bottom of the leaderboard really have to do well, but not only that, those teams that are towards the top have to do kind of bad as well. So whenever they see any of the teams like right above them, like getting knocked out of the game, like whoever's below them really needs to take advantage of that and just get as many points possible.
Well, like one team particularly that I'm going to be hoping that steps it up is going to be the side of M&A, right? In the previous weeks, we did see a really strong foot being put forward by them, and it was quite surprising to see them not really being able to replicate that in yesterday's performances. We did see them getting sent out relatively early on in several of the maps, so hopefully things change up a little bit more today, but also at the same time, I'm kind of hoping that we see the teams that were stepping up so strongly yesterday to continue forward with the momentum they were building up. And of course, we are going to be heading up into Murmur with a little bit of that Erangel and Sanok action following shortly after that. So, big map to start it off. We've seen some different strategies being employed all across the board on Murmur. We've seen it sped up, we've seen it slowed down a little bit. What would be the ideal kind of approach, in your opinion, for today?
Honestly, in my opinion, I don't know. I feel like it depends on the situation that I would be in, first of all, depending where I am on this leaderboard. Like, of course, those towards the top can be a little bit more careful. All they have to really do is sustain the points that they have, like keep going on ahead and getting a consistent amount of points. While those teams that are more towards the bottom, they need to do more than just consistent. They need to get more points, right? So I guess if I was on that second half of the leaderboard, I'd be thinking all 3 of these matches today, not only do I have to play really well into that late game and get those placement points, I need to be proactive the entire time, keep an eye on my surroundings, take every fight possible that I think that I have any sort of advantage on to win and get those kill points. And that's how I'd go into today. Aggressive on all 3.
Yeah, so you got to risk it for the biscuit, essentially, right? You got to put it all on the table, bear it all to see whether or not you can get the results that you are looking for. And it's going to be quite exciting, though, because, I mean, we've seen these teams play through the previous 3 weeks of the qualifiers, making their way on in, just stepping up, just coming in with some heavy, hard-hitting performances. And in a lot of the games we watch them, they actually got points very similar to what we would see in a squad situation. So we know that they are quite capable of replicating that once again, as that is kind of what we saw coming through those qualifying weeks. And I'm curious to see who's going to be the team to step up in today's plays to do exactly that, to bring that extra little bit of spice to the table.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. We're spectating Fate right here as well. One of the members of Execute, this guy, he was our MVP twice yesterday, ended up being taken away at the last moment. So I'm curious to see if he's going to be able to grab his title back, as he's currently dropping just to the other, really close by to farm. And of course, he's actually not inside of our first zone here, popping up towards that northern side. I'm actually really excited for this, DK. It's centering around that river in Georgia Pole. I love northern circles. I feel like we don't get them enough. I really want to see these teams start making these rotations and taking these fights, because not only is the circle up to the north, the plane pass so far down to the south, everybody's going to have to be moving, basically.
Yeah, I'm right there with you on that one, Span. I mean, northern zones, they just bring a little extra bit of a, let's call it the je ne sais quoi, right, with them. And it makes the gameplay just that extra bit more interesting as the teams move into a region where we don't generally see the zone really moving towards. And those southern drop locations are fine to start off with, but I'm looking to see what the rotations are going to bring in, as we see that entirety of the northern portion of the zone being completely open for the taking. So Zaki, shooting range, Silverni, and the surrounding compounds could be quite interesting positions for, you know, these duos to move into to get themselves set up. But first, they have to get through this looting phase, and particularly over on towards that eastern bridge, they kind of need to get out of the mess as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people around the southern part of farm right there. I mean, two teams directly next to each other. The people in farm a little bit further away. Maybe if the team to their south start fighting, they'll be able to kind of third party that situation. There's also two teams actually in Primorsk all the way on the southwestern side, but it looks like two of them just decided to pull off instantly in their vehicles and driving away, leaving the other two alone. Both It's Bug and Druggy, they're alone now. At this point, it's like if you've already dropped here all the way down to the southern side, you really should just commit to getting yourself some loot before focusing on any sort of moves. But those guys that are a little bit closer, already inside of this zone, maybe on the very edge of it, they could honestly, right when they get even their first primary gun, they can just get out of there and start prioritizing the circle as soon as possible. Because I don't know. I wouldn't want to be stuck along the edge here for too long, because you have to know, based off of that plane path, there's going to be so many people stuck coming in behind you. You have an advantage to get further if you wanted to.
Yeah, and this is where the proactivity is going to be absolutely essential. Kind of anticipating where the teams could have dropped based on, as you mentioned, that flight path, and looking to just sneak on into something. But a very interesting approach though coming in as we look over on towards the team that pushed all the way up in towards the Sosnovka Island. That is actually going to be, I believe it's the players there from the Panthers bot, as they've now got that entire island to loot at their leisure. Meanwhile, a little bit closer onto the Gatka side, we can see Masatos finding themselves in a bit of a fight, a bit of a back and forth going up against the team coming in from Jalay.
That's an unfortunate situation. The thing is that July, they need the points. They're currently in 10th place overall with 13 points. If they can go on ahead and take down at least one member of Masatos here, first of all, Masatos are a couple of spots above them, 2 spots above them to be exact. So this is definitely a team that they want to go on ahead and jump over, but also just getting any points that they can is, of course, going to be helpful. And we can see that vehicle on that mini map getting a little bit close, maybe going for the res on Hypercito. This is a little bit dangerous coming in from Darkito. I'm interested to see if he's really trying to attempt this, knowing that the team of Jalay, they should still be close by if they had gotten that knock there.
Yeah, I mean, this is the kind of play that we are looking to see. Teams, just coming in with a few different strategies here. Darkito, not quite sure whether or not they'll be able to reach up on towards Hypercito, as we can see that Hypercito is definitely trying to crawl back to get that race being pulled off. But I like this play coming through now from Sanok, as we see, the rush coming in, not even going to allow for that race to be pulled off. But this is where Sanok now needs to be super careful, as you can see Darkito comes in with those hits. And I mean, the buggy is not the most armored vehicle we have on this game.
Not at all. I was really thinking that he might have been going for a run over on Darkito or something, but he instantly turned away. He doesn't want to get knocked, so Darkito took that as an opportunity to just drive away at that point. I mean, Manok, I don't think that he would be leaving his teammate. That's why he didn't decide to chase. And unfortunately, they wanted to get that second kill, but it just wasn't going to happen. So here we go. They're just going to go ahead and loot up the one kill that they did, in fact, get, get the spoils, and then continue to move on. At least they know now if there's a solo somewhere up to their northern side, further in zone, they have to be careful. They could either get that point really easily, or if they go on ahead and get surprised by a solo, it's not going to be good. So we'll end up seeing if that solo is going to have any power later on.
Yeah, we'll definitely be finding out. Meanwhile, we are moving over on to the players here from Zero Remorse, and they've actually taken quite the journey here, moving all the way from that farm position, wrapping up on towards this eastern side, coming in on the side here, of course, of Yasnaya. But now, Fate, our MVP from yesterday's first match, definitely looking to get right down to business. Going to try and potentially catch up to them to put a hold to that rotation, as both teams actually execute, and Zero Remorse now continue to push even further on towards that western side. But both these teams are also only separated by 1 point currently on the leaderboard. Execute sitting on 24, Zero Remorse sitting on 23. So this could be quite an interesting engagement coming in between both of them, if they, however, then decide to fight it out with each other.
Yeah, I'm sure if they identified who each other were, honestly, I wonder if there would be some sort of a chase down and just flat out fight. That would be pretty interesting to see. But right now, they don't know who each other are. They're just going to keep on rotating, trying to find a good place to play out of. Looks like they're driving by plane, not quite want to play there either, waiting for this next zone to close. They just want to put themselves in a position that no matter where this next one pops, they have a route to the south or the north, anywhere that they want to go. All I have to say though is Execute, they're getting really close to Darkito here. If they spot out this solo, it's not going to be good for him. But looks like they're just going to miss him down to the south.
Oh, yeah. Also down towards that far south. You can see the players now continuing to just trench their way on forward. We got the finishers there, currently sitting at the top of the leaderboard, now finding themselves alongside the players coming in there from EXP, as both teams are making their way up from that Primorsk Quarry kind of region, slowly just inching their way back into a particular position. But I mean, this position we have also then for Darkito. You mentioned this with Execute moving in that direction. This could be a kind of do-or-die play now coming in, as Darkito, I'm pretty sure Darkito knows that Gremlin and Fate are positioned just up above.
Oh, definitely hear the vehicles. Execute knows that he's there too. You can see the buggy actually right beside the building that Darkito's in. It's not stealthy whatsoever. They're pulling closer. Fate, he's trying to bait it actually. Here we go, he's getting close while his teammate is watching from afar. If anybody were to peek these windows, Execute would be able to spot him out immediately. He knows better than that. He's going to stay prone to waiting for some sort of a push to happen. This is a little bit scary in the case of Darkito. He just wants to stay alive in this as the solo, but let's see if he's going to be able to now with Execute fully surrounding him like little sharks. They know that somebody has to be near. Otherwise, it's just a random buggy, and that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So we'll see if they decide to go ahead inside the building, but that's kind of dangerous. So we'll just have to wait and see. Everybody else, though, they're still taking this opportunity to make these rotations on in. So if they wait too long, they might be fighting this while there's other people around them.
But I gotta say though, I'm liking the strategy coming in from the sort of Execute. I mean, Gremlin on Overwatch, just providing that that extra layer of protection, and then of course Fate. We know Fate is quite capable of handling these plays. Fate now just rushing on in towards Darkito, putting Mosatos right back from whence they came, but definitely a really good execution coming in from Execute on that maneuver.
Yeah, they were able to see him kind of run out of that one room, probably got called out, and then the push up. But look, these are the two teams that you ended up kind of pointing out. They're both right next to each other as they're rotating on this big road on the western side, and they decided to stop, I guess, and kind of mess with each other. CEXP, it's Bug trying to keep an eye out for him here. Probably can hear the buggy starting to go on the road once again. Spots them out. Okay, now they're gone. Go back to the vehicle and start driving once again. They don't want to be driving into them, running into them, but they clearly want to start a fight.
Yeah, but of course, what's quite interesting to look at there is that the players from the finisher, currently sitting up in pole position, they want to try and kind of retain their position in this particular game as long as they possibly can. They don't want to get sent away too early, but this is where XP actually had quite a controlling play there. I mean, had they decided to take the engagement with the players from the finisher, it could have gone one of two ways. Either they finish off the finisher or they get finished by the finisher. So either way, there's still quite a lot of power coming in at that play, because had XP stepped up and sent the finishers back, they would definitely put quite a bit of a stop to their potential gain up that leaderboard.
Oh yeah, and it looks like, wait a second, even more people are starting to surround each other. It looks like they, not only are they starting to pull in on that western side in the center of this map, there's also people all the way over here on the western side. Actually, 3 teams you can see in that mini map right now. Execute, trying to find out where that other shots are coming from. Ooh, Psycho almost ended up getting knocked down there, but can't quite spot them out. There you go, can hear the buggy once again. Seems like people, I mean, all these guys, you know, they like the similar locations to play at. So it's just really who's going to go on ahead and get there first, and who else can honestly set up and take advantage of those usual spots. I think Execute, honestly, up on top of this hill, I feel like it's a pretty strong position, because from up here they can definitely see any sort of rotations around them, and they have height advantage. I think this is a great place to gain themselves some knowledge, basically, and that is very important to this game.
Yeah, knowledge is going to be absolutely key. And I mean, now we see the players there from M&A, of course, just positioned up ahead. We got the players here from the side of Execute, now looking to just try and wrap themselves around. But also Fulabi and Punjabi positioned within the compound. And definitely some interesting positions they have. Unfortunately, we're not really seeing too much of an aggressive push, but it makes sense because they want to try and ride the storm as long as they can, get as deep into this phase as they could possibly manage. But definitely we can see that kind of awareness coming through from the side of M&A. It looks like they are just paying quite a bit of attention in the direction of the players from Execute. So hopefully it's on the books for M&A to maybe, bring it a little bit more together here today, because I got to say I was quite, I wouldn't say disappointed, but not too pleased with their performance coming in yesterday's games. I was expecting a little bit more.
I don't disagree. I mean, they ended up going through 2 of the weekly finals, and the first one, it didn't go too well for them. They didn't make it. The second one, they absolutely knocked it out of the park, and they got the most points in a weekly final, which is 51. So it's like clearly they do have these moments where they don't quite perform the way that they need it, but then also they can obviously perform at the same time, right? So seems like yesterday they didn't perform. I'm hoping today that, it's the second day, that this is where they go ahead and bring it back and perform today, because I mean they've already done that. If the pattern holds, that should be what happens today.
Well, only time will tell what will happen, but well, for the time being we are looking over at the 100 as well as FSU now, just moving a little bit further down to the coastline right here up in towards North George. So already from what we know, we have 5 teams currently situated here, just looking to kind of ride it out, see which way they could potentially play this, and just try different options out with regards to those positionings. But definitely an interesting position coming in here from strikers. As we can see, FSU down below, Mike and Anna just keeping a very close eye on that drop that we have also just off to this western side. I don't know if the hundreds maybe just waiting to see if anyone's going to dare potentially venture out to that loot drop.
Probably. We'll have to wait and see. Also seems like, honestly, they're in a really good position to hold both the road to their north and their south. So if anybody were to drive by, they could potentially really mess them up. So we'll have to see if they do catch anybody off guard. This zone does pull even further towards this northwestern side. So they're kind of all the way down to the south. People are starting to drive through the city, though. We can already see at least one little team driving through Georgia Pole, and more teams down to the south on their way. So let's see. Oh, here we go. Fluffy and Punjabi about to drive on by. You can see them running on over, and here we go. The shots are coming through.
Oh, Sicko coming in with a quick play, but unfortunately Striker right there on the trigger to just assist with getting that knock on in. And I mean, this is such a beautiful position for the 100. You can see those utilities now getting sent across. Will it reach? Will it cause enough damage? Oh, it gets so close, but if it wasn't for that wall, it could have been at the end for Fulabi and Punjabi. But now we see several more teams continuing to move on in, and that buggy actually posing quite a bit of a threat here for them.
I thought they were just about to continue driving. I was like, no way, he's going to get shot off again. But no, they did stop. They are going to try to heal on up. And here comes the smokes as well. This is a good idea. Just toss out those smokes. Just pull the buggy up into one of these other buildings across the street. It's a little scary because we can see that there's actually another team up on top of the Berry Hill right up to their north. So wherever Fulabi and Punjabi go right now is really going to determine how long they play this game. And unfortunately, no way. Just the back of the buggy is so open.
Yeah, that is like running around with the scissors in your hand, trying to do backflips and hoping that you land on your feet. But of course, now we see Fulabi and Punjabi still having a potential play to make here, unless we see Critch come in with that clutch play, of course, getting the finishing blow onto Sicko. But now, this is where things get a little bit more interesting, right? We got so many more teams starting to converge on towards North George. We got the players from Baba. We've got, Zero Remorse also not too far away. We have the players pulling in there from the Cookie Crumbs, so we can see Tian and Dream in position on the side. So many interesting plays can still come from this positioning, and they need to be so careful, because these city finishes, there's quite a bit of a tricky play when it comes to those city plays.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, just everybody jam-packed. Also, Georgia Pole, honestly, it's so close to the water. I don't really know what to expect in this, because I feel like it there's a possibility that it is going to pull off of this city, right? And then people are really going to be trapped in here because it's not like one of those cities that really has a path out of it in this direction to the north. Instead, it is very much in the open. There's not as many buildings. Everything's more spread out. Right when you get on these roads and try to run across, there's not that many buildings to provide you cover. It's kind of a scary situation in that not even the hills beside it have that much cover. There's a couple of trees and that's it. There's already people holding them up on top of the hill. Oh no, Pain, not again. Pain goes down. They're actually surrounded. Look how many people are at this compound. There's an entirely different team to their south.
Yeah, the Panthers bots, they are just hanging about. They are getting ready to just come bouncing on in. But again, now Zero Remorse also not in the most secure position. We can see Puppy there just come rushing on forward. Pilot looking to make a play there with the vehicle. Not quite sure if Pilot is going to try and circle around to potentially save Pain, but the pressure is going to be on as we've got another team also just positioned alongside them. So that could either be Jalay or the players. Well, I think, yeah, it's Jalay right there in the compound alongside this position. And again, Jalay could be capitalizing on that. As we know, they are also looking to make a bit of a run up that leaderboard. And what a good way it is, though, for Jalay. As we know, if they can stop any potential advances for Zero Remorse coming in, they will be benefiting at the end of the day. But now Jalay also themselves trying to make a bit of a play here, looking to see if they can line up any of these angles.
Time to wait and see. It looks like they are actually disengaging, though. Oh, poor Pain, still slowly bleeding out. I mean, his teammate just completely left, right? I mean, if you're not sure what is safe and what isn't, I would just get out of there. Get the heck out of Dodge, you know? So, and that's exactly what Pilot ended up doing. Pain, though, still alive, just split out. So unfortunate. No saving the teammate for you. That compound wasn't even inside zone. Everybody moving again because the zone decided to pull over towards the west even more so. This is really where all those compounds, I feel like on the outskirts of the city, is really going to come into play. Even Chico Aya West, I have to say, has a really strong position over here on the edge of the zone.
Yeah. We saw Dreamman also taking one of our MVP slots just yesterday. So definitely expecting some great things still to come. We do see the players there from the finish and now moving on to the edge of zone. But as we hop over onto the eastern side, this is where things are looking still a little bit on the challenging edge. I mean, we got Execute also now just positioned up on the high ground. Fate and Gremlin looking to come rolling through like thunder. Of course, we see Jalay now having repositioned as well. Gulabi and Punjabi off in the distance there. And Span, we even have the players coming in from Hellfire, just positioned a little bit further down south. So things are only going to get dialed up from this point.
We can even see Execute trying to use these little rocks here as some sort of cover while keeping a lookout. I mean, it's just, the zone is just getting too small for the amount of people that's about to fit in. Here we go, even more people starting to send it on in. Two different teams even from Georgia Bull, and Execute doesn't want that to happen. So Gremlin taking a lot of shots towards Bull Shark. Jaga actually ended up stopping, maybe to help out his teammate, not quite sure, because they're just outside zone, taking their own separate fight. This is going to be difficult for Jaga and Bull Shark to actually get inside of this. Oh.
Yeah. Ooh. Wow, that was pretty crazy. M&A stepping up, putting a quick end to the players there from Zero Remorse. But now Execute Gremlin still going to be perched up high, trying to reach all the way down. As we can see, Draghi now taking several hits as Yaga lands the finishing blows. And a good play coming in for the side there of Baba. They're now still looking to just creep their way up from that southern edge. Meanwhile, right here on the side, we see the players there from Cookie Crumbs still looking to see if they can find a good entry point into the zone. But Gremlin, I think, is going to be causing quite a few problems for a lot of these duos to move in.
Oh yeah, definitely. Execute up on top of the hill. Horrible. Everybody's gonna have a hard time. Beautiful nade though is gonna knock out Tian Tian. That's gonna be a little bit of a scary situation. Oh, this building is not safe whatsoever. Even if they're up on top of the roof, they're gonna be getting shot at from even potentially Execute as well. They have to be careful in this situation.
Oh wow, that was such a sneaky creep coming in there. And yeah, with that, Chica iOS gets sent away. Up comes Clown now, finding its bug, and with that, putting a quick stop to the players for the players there of XP, as we can see them getting sent back empty-handed. But now only 9 remain, and this is where things are going to get quite interesting. We're moving a little bit closer on towards this western side, but also the coastline is just yeah. I have not seen a zone really pulling in this direction.
I haven't seen them in a long time. They do rarely, I feel like, and it's difficult because one, players don't play over here as much. Two, if you just look at this, it's honestly just hard to play in general. I mean, yeah, we have these big windmill things. There's not really a place to play on the base of them. We can see that there's a couple of shacks to play out of. Otherwise, the big building and the top of the hill, and that's it. Not even all of these rocks are actually playable to take fights. So I love that XQ has the top of the hill. I love to see that they're spread out. It's just making me sweat just the tiniest bit, you know, because there's so many people now pushing them from different angles. Just look at that on the minimap. All three teams now pushing Execute at the same time. They have to play this perfectly.
Yeah, they will definitely have to play this one perfectly. And I mean, I'm liking the approach coming through here from the Cookie Crumbs as they're now trying to just find a way to move into zone as the next phase continues to shift over onto the western side, and now kind of moving away from the mountainous region and more into that open flat piece that we did see over on towards the west. So definitely these 9 remaining pairs of duos are going to have their hands full with trying to pick a decent position to move in. But already we do see the players there from the Panthers bots taking a good initiative, setting themselves up in towards those compounds. But now they're going to have to defend it, as I do think that is going to be pretty sought after real estate.
Here we go, Butterfly starting to make a move on over, getting into the Bucky potentially with the teammate. The thing is it's much too late now to be driving anywhere. You can see that they are going for some sort of a cover, but really the zone has hard shifted away. All you can really do in this situation is, I feel like, fight that, or if your vehicle will provide you any sort of cover, go ahead and attempt to utilize that. But the zone over to the west once again. Honestly, Poppy, JUA, they're happy with this situation. I feel like a Solos inside of that shack's happy as well, but everybody that was on the mountain that thought that they had such a strong position, it is strong no more. Instead, they're going to be running down in the complete and utter open for everybody else elsewhere in the zone to be taking shots out as they try desperately to continue on in this game. Ooh.
Yeah, and now push is going to come to shove. See that going to start closing on through Cookie Crumbs trying to push up from that southern side, as we do see a quick rotation coming in from Archer now, but Butterfly getting caught out by the blue. Yaga now trying to frantically rush on forward, trying to set up a good position. Clown already up ahead, but here we go. M&A still in place, looking to set themselves up. Archer comes in with a knock in their direction as M&A hits so hard. Baba, of course, getting picked up. Clown now getting forced to try and bring in a bit of a heel strat out in the blue, but unfortunately won't be able to hold on as the big bad blue zone comes swooping on through. The hits now continues to fly on in. 6 teams left. Jalay trying to rush into the Panthers bot, and it is going to be go time.
Oh, I see Sanok was trying to go on ahead and chip up the enemy so that Jalay would have a chance, but no, it is ended for them. They go out. This zone once again has moved. Nobody's inside of it. There is a solo all the way down to the southern side, probably happy with where this has turned out, but they get found out. It looks like XQ decided to make a rotation that direction. If they keep doing that, they're going to be the only ones to the south in control of the entire area, and that means they would only have to focus to the north in terms of enemies. So I love to see what they're doing here, honestly, with the rotations that they have. The finishers actually still alive in that top position. Here we go. They might be getting a good amount of points in this one. They got to take out Panthers bot and the team right in front of them against the zone first.
Yep, it is going to be an absolutely crazy one to try and play through. And with that, we do see Electra getting blown up, and now turns to Alucard for M&A to keep it all together. Of course, the Panthers bots are still going to be trying to gain a bit of a foothold in the zone, as they've now been reduced down to only 1 execute. Still having the full duo set alive and kicking as they now continue to move on forward, trying to sneak up onto that southern side. But as we can see, it is Super out in the open, super exposed. Alucard now quickly ducking back into cover before comes strafing up.
Way. No way!
Oh, that is the M&A we've been wanting to see, but up comes Puppy now, sending a nade over. And it is absolutely devastating. Puppy now caught out in the open. The attention turns to him and executes. Step up with the winner chicken dinner, coming in with a very comfortable 8 eliminations and, of course, 883 damage dealt. Fantastic stuff.
I cannot believe that they actually were able to get down from on top of that hill. I mean, they were up there first. I'm like, this is a perfect position for them to go ahead and get kills. Then I was like, wait a second, this is a perfect position for them to be completely pinned in and taken down. But they were able to get out of it. And they were in control of the entire southern side of the zone. I don't know how Execute did it, but they sure did. And they executed it well. And they got the chicken dinner. So that was a great game coming through from them. A couple of other people I thought really had it in the bag, but just don't always know what to expect coming into those late games.
Yeah, as you said, you know, the duos are always so exciting as we never know what we're going to be getting. It's like opening a box of chocolates, right? You never know what you're going to get, right? But either way, some really surprising plays. Not only did the zone make it super challenging for the teams moving over on towards that western side, this was the first time for me ever on a broadcast to see the zone going in that direction. So that was a very exciting play coming through from the duos here. And got to give credit where it's due. I mean, we did see an absolutely fantastic play coming in there from Execute, but I'm also quite satisfied that M&A stepped it up today, right? This is a little bit of a glimmer of the sheer beauty we saw from them coming in the qualifying day, in which they brought in those 51 points. So not exactly on par just yet, but it's getting there, right? It's getting closer and closer to the M&A that we know, that we want to see play once again. And of course, speaking of that, let's take a look at the standings after this match to see what the point situation is currently looking like.
I also feel like Gillet, they were in 10th place overall, but let's see how many points that they were able to pick up. They picked up 5. They ended up being able to stay alive pretty well into the late game. Same with Flubbie and Punjabi. Both those teams really needing points. Panthers, but I will say, needed it the most, though. And look at that, in that second place with 18 points. That's definitely going to bump them from their 15th place position right now much, much higher. Execute, on the other hand, they were in 4th place already with 24. They basically, they almost doubled the amount of points that they got in all 3 games yesterday, DK. They have 23 from this one match.
Yeah, and that's the power of an exceptional match. It is something that can really just catapult the team up that leaderboard. And what a fantastic way it was for Execute, the Panthers bot, and M&A. 3 teams really being, well, 2 of the 3 teams at the top really being in dire need of those points, right? The Panthers bots and M&A, we wanted to see them move up, and that is exactly what they did. But of course, we do see that consistency coming through from the finisher, still bringing in those 9 points. You know, being sure that they are still in the running. They're not going to be backing off of anything just yet. I think that might have been enough to potentially secure them a second position, but I wouldn't be surprised if Execute has now moved up into pole position, because this was an absolutely fantastic match for them. But also, as you pointed out, Gillet bringing in those 5 points, that could potentially maybe be enough for them to get either to the very top of the right side of the leaderboard, or maybe into the top 8.
Ooh, yeah, I'll just have to wait and see. Also, oh man, there's a couple of other teams. Okay, so there's some teams in this one that ended up doing really, really well, and they absolutely needed it. Same with some teams that really, really needed it that ended up not getting too much. One of them being FSU, the Chosen Ones, both of them with 0 points. I mean, 100... They actually did really well yesterday, but starting off with 2 points today, I wonder if they're going to be able to continue holding on to the place that they have. And I mean, just luckily, these guys have 2 games left, I guess I'll say, because 1 game, we've said at the very, very beginning, these guys can really only have 1 bad game. A couple of these guys have had a couple more. That just means that those good games that they do have just need to be even better. So, 1 down today, 2 left to go. I need to see these teams go on ahead and step it up.
Ooh, I'm feeling the nerves kicking in as we're drawing nearer and nearer to our final match of the day. But of course, as we can see, this is just the standings of the first match. I mean, what will we see come through in the next 2? Anything can still happen. We could have an entirely surprising performance coming in from any of these teams, as we've seen them step up to the plate. But of course, let's have a look to see what our overall standings now look like, and how these points coming in off of the first match has actually impacted the overall leaderboard. And of course, as I'd hoped, Execute sitting at the top slot there. The finishers up in 2nd place, 3 points behind them on 44. But Chica iOS also now up in that third position, getting moved down from second. We've got the 100 also still hanging about, but a good jump coming in now for M&A, moving all the way from 11th up to 5th. And of course, Zero Remorse still in the mix. But if we look onto the opposite end, that is where things are getting so neck in neck. I mean, Falabi Punjabi, Jalay, Baba, Hellfire, Masatos, one match can change pretty much from 4th place, even 3rd place, all the way to 13th.
Well, I'm going to say right now, another team that didn't quite point out is actually the Panthers bot. Panthers bot currently in 8th place overall with 21 points. They start off today with 3 points and 15th place. Just that one match, they're able to gain enough points to put them in the 8th place position. So those guys on the wrong side of the leaderboard, there's proof that they can go ahead and do it. There's literally proof in the Panthers bot being able to jump from 15 to 8. So they just have to do it though, because the Panthers bot, they just did it. They're kind of now in the running. They have 21 points. They could go on ahead and get more and get closer, right? These other guys, they're in for it a little bit harder, but they really need to go ahead and pull that off that the Panthers bot just did, but even more so.
Well, I mean, it is still 100% doable. The teams, we know that they are capable of bringing in the necessary changes that need to be brought in for them to advance into the position where they would like to be. And ideally, I think everyone wants to be at the top. That's just kind of what I'm thinking about here. You know, you want to be the team to walk away with the title. You want to be the victors of the Valentine Royale. You want to be the one to get shot by Cupid, right? But it is still going to be an exciting few matches that lay ahead of us. We've got 2 more to go. We still have Murmur and also Sanok to get up into. So I have to say, I cannot really wait to see what those maps are going to be bringing as the teams then get that opportunity to showcase their skills once again.
I cannot wait either. Okay, I'm really excited to see how this next game's going to go, because I feel like it's going to be very different, right? I mean, it's going to be on Miramar. That's where that long range fight really comes into play. Miramar a little bit more harder to traverse. It's going to be a lot, DK. I'm excited.
Yeah. Well, speaking about excitement, we are, of course, going to be hopping into a quick break while we get our next match locked and loaded and ready to roll. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys right back after the break. Oh, no, never mind. Wait, what am I saying? Wow. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yes, okay. We are gonna, I thought we had to go with the MVPs, but never mind. We'll do that a bit later. We'll see you guys right back after the break.
With a memory, it's days like these that I'm glad that you left. I can't dwell on the things that you said. You keep on placing those bets, but don't blame me when your heart is in debt. Heart is in debt. Heart is in debt. Don't blame me when your heart is in debt. Heart is in debt. I'm running in circles to get away. I'm in the same place. At the end of the day, another stiff drink in a dark room. I don't wanna think, can I be numb to you? You set me free when you try to get rid of me. One day you'll see when you're left with a memory. It's days like these that I'm glad that you left. I can't dwell on the things that you said. You keep on placing those bets, but don't blame me when your heart is in debt. Heart is in debt. Heart is in debt. But don't blame me when
Hello and welcome back to the Valentine Royale. I'm getting ahead of myself with everything today. I'm just so excited to see who's going to be crowned the victors at the end of today's matches. And of course, we did see some pretty exciting gameplay coming through in the first match, but of course, also a few movers and shakers coming in on the leaderboard. And now, as we get ready to move into the next match, man, this is where I wonder who's going to be the team to step up next, as it is still pretty much anyone's game.
Yeah, I don't know. If you asked me to guess somebody, I wouldn't be able to tell you, because even in this last match, a ton of people were able to kind of step it up. I mean, M&A, the Panthers by XP. I mean, a good amount of people were able to go on ahead and move from the right side leaderboard to the left, right? And I feel like coming into this next one, I think it could still be anybody. I really feel like at this level, a lot of these guys have kind of been jumping each other like this entire time. So it really just comes down to who in this next match is really going to be feeling it and perform well. And that is something we can't really predict, but we can surely just go ahead and watch and see who will come out on top and guess from their positions.
Yeah, 100% true. And of course, next up, we are going to be moving straight over into Miramar. And it's going to be quite exciting to see what the teams are going to be bringing to the desert. As we've seen some strategies being applied. I've already mentioned this, but, looking at how the teams have opened up today's first match, I think it's going to be an absolutely wild ride to see what they'll be looking to accomplish over on Miramar.
Oh yeah, I have no idea. I don't know what to expect. I already said it. I definitely feel like, though, last two games, I think it kind of comes down to this, if they do not have enough points, I like to call it shenanigans. You know this, DK. Will there be shenanigans? I kind of can't wait to find out, because if there are shenanigans, that's always very interesting to watch. Shenanigans, of course, being people realizing that they need to go on ahead and achieve more points and utilizing knowledge from the games they've already played to achieve them. I want to see it happen.
Yeah, we want to see all those strategies that they have hidden away in their secret strategy lockers to be pulled out, implemented, and put to the test as the teams now get their sunscreen on. They're getting ready to jump out. As we can see already, the cookie crumbs come flying on down. A very interesting zone already. I mean, smack dab center, Picado right there. Wow, this is gonna be one for the books, maybe.
I'm looking forward to it. Good plane path, good first circle. Everybody's still jumping on out. We saw last time like 3 or 4 teams in Los Leones. Looks like this time people kind of learned. Only 2 teams going there now. People spreading out a little bit more. That San Martin area looks a little colorful though, so we'll have to keep an eye on that, see if any of those guys are going to end up messing with each other. Otherwise, I think once again, people doing a pretty good job at staying away from each other, except for Impala as well. So we'll have to keep a close eye on those early game fights, or if they're just going to go ahead, disengage, try to live longer, because we already talked about it. Best strategy, stay alive for as long as possible, get those place points and those kill points. The longer you stay alive, the more fights you're going to be involved in. But 100, they don't care. They're pushing.
Yeah, they just got to give it 100 right out of the gate as they come flying on forward. The players here from Chica iOS on the opposite end, where we see Dreamin' and Tian maybe, essentially, dealing a few interesting blows over to the players here from the 100 now. Look at this, Dreamin' just standing there, third party peeking the heck out of this situation, and Striker just waiting, trying to taunt them out of that position, but
oh no!
Tian and Dreamin' come through with some beautiful hits. Critch now. Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, that was nasty, but so beautiful to watch. What a great start. The first blood coming in right there. And Chica iOS starting it off beautifully on Miramar.
I was going to say, there is absolutely no way that that team is going to get out of the position that they had. Right when the one knock happens, it's basically over. Chica iOS, that was a sick knock that they needed to go ahead and grab. And instantly, we're jumping on over into San Martin as well, because there's even 2 other teams right next to each other. I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to be as aggressive as the one that we just watched. Right now, definitely not even in the same buildings, but it could potentially happen. We have to wait and see if... Oh, man, because they have to leave the city. Who knows? They are getting to the point where they know that they need to go ahead and achieve points. They know that there's somebody close by. Will they take the bait, though?
Yeah, that's going to be the important part, but we should see that experience from XP now being put to good use. And of course, you know, we'll have to wait and wonder for the time being whether or not they'll be actually getting into a few of those engagements, those tussles. But meanwhile, Cookie Crumbs are going to be making their way through Chumacera, as we can see. A very comfortable looting phase. Of course, the players here from Execute are now executing their rotation as they head further and further into the lovely land of Miramar. And it looks like a smooth sailing so far. We don't really have a lot of congestion on this side of the map for the time being, so they can actually quite comfortably rotate up. But they got to be careful because they could eventually be bumping into someone. But we also know that Chumacera is not too far away from their current position. So who knows? Maybe we'll have a little bit of action come rolling on through.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where they're going to call home for right now. I mean, they're just driving at this point. There were a couple other teams like around this area, of course, way down to the southern side. So we'll see if maybe they're even moving as early as Execute is, or if it's just being ignored as of right now. Not quite sure. They still do have a while to go. I do believe there's a team that probably dropped Valdemar. We obviously don't even see them in the distance. So that means Execute, they can just chill for now. They could continue to loot up on these buildings in Monty and hopefully continue to move on. Yeah, Valdemar hasn't moved just yet. M&A, though, they're moving, and they're actually in a big bus. Let's see where they go with that.
Yeah, they're hustling and bustling their way on through. Los Leones looking to maybe find a good place to call home for the time being. But, of course, the team that you were talking about over in Valdemar, that is going to be the players there from the finishers, the ones... you know, coming in pretty strongly into today after just off the back of yesterday's performances. So we've got to pay close attention to where these teams are going to be going. But up in San Martin, things are still looking pretty standoffish. You know, there's not too much happening for the time being as the players there from Zero more still just holding on. EXP is still on the opposite end, but FSU are starting to creep in from that eastern side. So this next zone could bring along with it a few interesting plays, but it does also seem like M&A are going to be making their way a little bit further in towards the zone, or at least Alucard is. I mean, it does seem like Electra is still just exploring the options on the edges there of Los Leones.
Maybe she's gonna go on ahead and 1v2 the other team in Los Leones. Yeah, she's like, Alucard, just go on without me. Don't worry, I'll get us some 2 points. We'll have to wait and see. Meanwhile, looks like there's still a little bit of a stalemate here in the San Martin area. I mean, we already said that this is gonna happen. They know that each other are here. They both want the points. It's so difficult to kind of leave people in San Martin unless you really go on ahead and part opposite ways. But that just didn't happen. Even EXP here actually split across the road. If Bug were trying to get across the teammate, might end up being spotted out. So a little bit of a dangerous situation. I mean, the good thing is I don't think that they really have to worry. They're really, at least for this first zone, but I don't know. It's difficult to say. They want to go on ahead and find themselves a better position, right? But right now, they don't have the luxury of doing so because they still know that there's a team somewhere close by. They have no idea where, so they have to choose their steps carefully.
Yeah, I'm looking at its Bug's bag, and it looks like a quiver almost, right? I was getting excited for a little for a brief moment there, hoping to see a little bit of that. You know, that crossbow action come through. I need to realize that that's not going to be the situation. A little bit disappointed. Either way, Baba are going to be moving a little bit closer on towards Los Leones. We can see them now just moving up on the hilltop. It does seem like Electra has finally found a vehicle to kind of speed up that rotation, but the blue zone is making its way on in, and now we got to wait to see where this next phase is going to be going. I'm liking the rotational pass so far coming in. All the teams just starting to just condense themselves a little bit more into the map, but still respecting safe distance, if you can put it that way. You know, they're close, but they're not too close for discomfort. They're just there, right? Waiting to see where this next phase is going to be taking them. And I mean, essentially, I hope once the next phase pops that it moves away from that San Martin position so we can actually see the players from EXP and Zero Remorse having to rotate out and maybe get into a bit of a fight.
They're just there. There we go. Circle will pop, kind of centering just off of San Martin once again. Oh, honestly, I like the rotations as well that you mentioned because you saw where the plane path went. Everybody had to have made some sort of a long rotation to be as spread out as they are right now. So that means everybody really effectively were able to go in the directions that they were kind of allowed based off of where they jumped out of the plane. And they were able to spread out perfectly. Everybody kind of did their job in that regard. You know, this next zone pulling a little bit back over towards the eastern side. Anybody who decided to go to the west, they might have the hardest time getting in this next one, because now they have to drive close to where some of those teams in the center are going to be sitting. So we'll just have to see if they run into each other. It looks like Falabi and Punjabi about to be running into a team of their own as they're jumping across these rocks. Oh no, they're about to be up on top of them.
Yeah, just a quick hop, skip, and a jump, and then they could either be in trouble or out of trouble, as we do see the Blazier from Hellfire now trying to get their way back up through those rocks. Manny having a little bit of a challenging approach there, but meanwhile, Falabi and Punjabi just rolling up like a boss, just flying up the hill. JP47 now perched up, and of course over in towards Graveyard we can see Giga iOS just looking to claim a few more additional potential elim points, but yep, Hellfire rains down at the hand of Manny onto Falabi and Punjabi, and Psycho now having to try and defend JP47.
He knows that somebody's making a rotation around, so he's going to try and spot him out. Oh, no. Right before he spots out Clown, he goes back to see if he can spot out Manny. At this point, he just needs to turn it into a 1v1 if he's hoping to go ahead and turn this around for his team, but doesn't even get a chance to blink. Clown immediately just takes the shots. Falabi and Punjabi eliminated. 13 teams are left, and Hellfire, they now have this entire part of the map. I wonder if they're going to be able to continue to utilize it as people continue to make their rotations. Oh, and it looks like another hold is happening.
Cookie Crumbs holding all the cards in their hands here as they have a nice bit of a position here, zone behind them. FSU now, of course, still having to try and push forward. They're looking to get into the safe zone, but there's about 40 seconds or so left on the clock, so anything can happen with these rotations. FSU definitely in a tricky spot, but, you know, they could still get out of this one, especially if Cookie Crumbs, you know, try to scan the vicinity like we saw Archer doing just then. That could be a little bit of an opening and a little bit of a reposition coming through for the side of FSU, but they're also not going to be backing off of this one just yet. FSU, I think they're going to be trying to reach across and, you know, maybe just tickle a few of those Cookie Crumbs, because coming into today, both these teams were pretty neck and neck, only 2 points separating both of them, and already going through that first match, there was a little bit of a change being brought in as well.
I mean, FSU as well could honestly, if they have a vehicle back there, they could just drive north, you know. Cookie Crumbs wouldn't really be able to do anything about that. They'd probably do a lot of damage into the vehicle, but they'd be fine. The thing is FSU, I haven't seen them really touch a vehicle yet. We can see them one in between them on the road right there. I wonder if that was FSU's plan, but they obviously hadn't had the time to go get it before they were rolled up on. And I feel like if that's the case, this is just another classic lesson of why you should always pull the vehicle into your compound before you go ahead and loot things up. Because Archer, Butterfly, they're watching this like a hawk. I'm a little bit worried for FSU, especially since both teams are actually outside in the blue zone, but it's FSU that's even further. Oh, but it doesn't matter. Look at that. Execute. They get involved getting a knock on a Cookie Crumbs.
Oh, this could be quite big now for the side of FSU. As we know, Cookie Crumbs only 4 points currently ahead of them on the leaderboard. And I mean, FSU just going to be sitting back, watching, waiting to see what Execute are going to be bringing in as they continue to move a little bit further forward now, just advancing on the aggressive side. Meanwhile, the players here from XP and Zero Remorse still having their lovely standoff here. Not much has really changed on this front, but it does, however, seem like Zero Remorse are now paying a little bit more attention to that western side.
Yeah, at least this time EXP were able to kind of get back together, right? They're kind of looking in the correct direction of the building. I wonder if they did end up spotting them, but they haven't taken the fight to them just yet. Butterfly just getting the heck out of there. Doesn't want to get involved in any sort of a fight with a two-man, so they now are staying alive as a solo for the rest of the game. And the Panthers bot, they ended up doing so well last game, literally doubling their points, jumping up so high. It looks like they have yet another enemy in their sights, and that is Baba. They need to get placement and kill points. So based off of where they are right now, if Baba isn't careful, honestly, I hope Panthers bot are able to kind of sneak on up there and kind of scare them, you know? While we wait for this next one to pop.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if any scaring is going to be coming through at all. But currently, again, a little bit of a cautious approach coming in, and I can't really blame any of our teams for taking a more cautious approach. I mean, this is the last day of play, and it is going to be absolutely essential, but a really aggressive shooting coming through there from the players on the side of Hellfire, as Cookie Crumbs now get sent away. A very unfortunate play coming in, but either way, now I understand why Zero Remorse have actually decided to focus a little bit more towards the west, because we see a nice little convergence of teams coming in. Pilot now taking aim at FSU, but now this is where Hellfire find themselves in a bit of a tricky spot. They need to still try and rotate up in towards zone, but Zero Remorse, they've got this angle pretty much covered for the time being.
Yeah, they're going to make it difficult. They're going to make them go all the way around. Zero Remorse, though, they're on the very edge. Looks like Pain. Maybe they're deciding to go ahead and make a move themselves. Yeah, down the big road they go. They probably want to find themselves a little bit of a better spot, specifically potentially in the center, more center of the zone, or... Nah, they're going over here to go ahead and get that loot, maybe a better angle on some things before they go ahead and make any sort of a move. They have the time to do so because other people are still making their rotations.
Oh, well, it's going to be a tricky play whichever way they try to take this one. And I mean, 12 teams, 24 still alive. There's not going to be a lot of positions really too open for the taking, but I mean, I think this is where the proactivity comes through, right? The faster teams are able to move into any particular angles, they could maybe see themselves just lining it up. But I mean, Hellfire, yes, they are leading with regards to the elims, right? But they are still looking to make a bit of a leap up the overall leaderboard as well. I mean, they were sitting on 19 points coming into this particular match, all the way down in that 10th place. So they need to play it quite carefully if they're looking to advance even further.
Seems like they're starting to just drive around, trying to get used to their surroundings right now. I mean, the area around them's already occupied, so they really have to be careful in this situation. Looks like Baba Masatos, though, they're like, careful. Never heard of her. Instead, they're gonna get pulled up on really close by. I mean, Baba isn't in the compound, but they're definitely in the dip right beside it. It's seeing probably if they can make a move on the people inside the compound, but right now they're just waiting for them to completely forget about them and their existence before they make any sort of a move. Hellfire as well. I love that they decided to go on ahead and move up on top of these little plateaus and big hills and stuff, because they really have an advantage of watching the people up on top of San Martin. And if they make any sort of a movement, Hellfire, they're inside of this natural terrain that's going to really help them out.
Well, let's see just how much it will assist in that potential play. I mean, Manny, you can see the focus now coming in, you know, just pulling that zoom in a little bit more on the scope, just trying to see if they can reach across, but unfortunately, the side of the mountain is going to be in the way, just trying to tap away at those tires, just trying to, you know, disable the vehicle somewhat. But of course, the players there from Zero Remorse, I'm pretty sure they are not too phased about this play just yet, as there's no apparent reason for them to move. And of course, the next shift is not that far away from them either. They can just crawl there if they really have to.
Honestly, Jalay, that team has Hacienda del Patron. Everybody else is either to their western side or to the south. This is going to be quite an interesting one. We can see the Panthers bots actually making a huge rotation all the way over on the eastern side, just making their way up towards the north. I wonder if maybe Delay is going to go on ahead and be backfilled inside of Hacienda, but otherwise the majority of people from the south, from the west, this is going to be a dangerous zone once more. I mean, San Martin's still barely inside of it. It could be completely filled up with teams by the end of this movement, but we have to wait and see. I have a feeling we're going to lose a couple more teams here.
But I mean, Jalay, good spot to be in. Then, of course, M&A, relatively close to them, but not so much on the high ground just yet. And as you can see, Hellfire having a little bit of a tricky rotation trying to move on through. But with that now, we have several shots coming in. M&A now taking a few hits in the process up in towards Hacienda del Patron. And right down below, we can see the players there from Masato's also now trying to creep on in from that eastern side. The rotations coming through, and this is where we're going to be seeing a lot of those conversions come in as the teams continue to push on through. But Zero Remorse, I'm liking the fact that they are still kind of sticking to San Martin. They haven't really left the area just yet. And of course, the same can be said for the players there from EXP as well.
Here we go. Slowly making their way on over. I'm curious to see if Pilot and Painter could be able to make it out of here. Already tossing out some smokes. I feel like they're stuck. I don't really know if they're going to be able to make it further. We're going to have to wait to see where this next zone is really going to shift to, and if they're going to be able to kind of push out there, they're going to have to participate in some sort of a fight. So it's like now or later, right? Would they rather go ahead and move out of the compound now and see if they can make a push on the Hellfire, or would they rather wait until this next zone shift? We'll have to wait and see. We can see that the finisher, though, one of them ended up getting knocked. I missed how Tom got knocked here, but it looks like Paul taking good care of him. Actually, a lot of people behind. No way! Here we go. Here comes Believe in... Paul needs to be careful in this one.
Yeah, Chica iOS looking to push right on through Dian and Dreamin'. Could have an easy few elims coming their way. Paul now about to receive the news, but fortunately it's not too devastating. Tom, however, does get traded off once again. Quick knock coming in. Oh. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Hellfire are going to come swooping in, trying to get a clean sweep on yet another team. As we can see, Dian taking a little bit of damage there.
I mean, Chica iOS, we talked about them a lot previously. They are an aggressive team. If they have the opportunity to get kills, they will take it. So they got one knock, instantly pulled on up, and just slaughtered them with some nades here. But you're right beside them, Hellfire as well. They have one more kill above Chica iOS, and I wouldn't be surprised if they want to end up taking these fights. But Hellfire first, oh no, the people that they're stalking is now driving away. So we'll have to see if they go ahead and move. Oh, their attention to someone else, and they do. Dreamin' goes down. That was a beautiful trade.
Yeah, that was such a crazy hit to make, though. But here we go. No, Manny quickly going for the res onto Clown. I mean, Hellfire really looking to make a good bounce back in today's performances here as they're stacking it up so fantastically right here on Miramar. Of course, Zero Remorse using this opportunity to quickly reposition, relocating themselves up onto the northern side of that zone. I think this is going to be a really good call for them, as they're also now just looking to, you know, make a run for that leaderboard. I mean, currently sitting on 24 points coming into this match. Things are looking on the up and up. Yes, they only have one elim to their name, but they're still alive, making up into 5th phase. We've got 11 teams remaining, so many opportunities still lie ahead for them.
Definitely, and here we go. Hellfire, they're now making their rotation in. They're actually making a rotation towards another team. We already said, these zones are getting smaller and smaller, making it a little bit more uncomfortable. Not enough space whatsoever. Delay still has the center of it, though, smack on top of Hacienda. They got here first, so I want to see how long they'll actually be able to stay here. If they're going to have the advantage this entire time, or if they're going to be taken out by a different team, much to obviously their dismay. So we'll have to wait and see. I love that they're utilizing the roofs here, trying to get as much information as possible, trying to get involved with all the shooting that they can hear around them. But Chico iOS, once again, continue to be aggressive. Let's see what Dream is going to be able to do here. It's a 2v1 and his teammates down. It's M&A.
Yep, M&A trying to save the day as they get ready to apply a little bit of that aggression, but Dreamer not going to let it slide that easily. Now trying to find it out with the blue zone, but Alucard brings it home. And with that, a devastating blow to the side of Chica.
Oh, no.
Alucard just narrowly missing that safe quick dash up in towards zone. Final 10 teams now left to fight it out. You can see Fate off in the distance as Hellfire takes a bit of a swing. Positioned over on towards this western side. Oh, what? No, ouch. Fate. Oh, Fate. Well, a good play, though, coming in from Fate, seeing that Fate is the last remaining hopeful for Execute. Unfortunate that M&A got taken down, but, you know, it is what it is. And Zero Remorse now also feeling a bit of that sting as Hellfire comes raining down on them.
Here we go. Nice spray onto Darkito. Doesn't quite hit, but you know, he knows exactly where he is. They're outside of this zone too. If they don't, they kind of have to decide, right? Are we going to continue to push towards this zone, potentially knock it in, or are we going to fight to try and get these kills, right? They got the knock on the Hypercito. Why not Darkito as well? We'll see if both Shark and Jaga are going to be making any sort of a move soon, but they have to. The zone's about to close. Nice shots coming in from Manok as well. Oh man, this is going to be definitely a deadly zone shift.
Yeah, Manok is locked in on that target, as we can see. Yayuya up ahead. Utilities getting sent across. Not quite sure if it's going to cause. Ooh, it does cause quite a bit of damage though. So Jalay still holding strong as they're looking now to just fortify their hold on towards this eastern side. But look at this Baba trying to roll on up. The shots continuing to come in. We still have Pilot holding on the back end. Masato's getting eliminated. EXP feeling the pressure as Bullshock now right up alongside them. Pull. Down goes Bullshock. Oh, but he had no really do anything with that position.
Oh, there we go. Baba eliminated 5 teams left, 8 alive. Let's see Jalay still utilizing the top of the roof here. FSU looks like they're their next target. Mike's already down, and on the last one alive. You can see X-Fate actually proning out, using the very short fences here to their advantage, trying to stay alive. I think that was a good Molotov, and it was. There they go. FSU is out of here. Jalay, 5 kills. They're definitely using these roofs to their advantage.
Jerry with the very accurate molly getting flung in there. And of course, with that, we are down to our 4 remaining teams. Jalay sitting on 2. We got the players here from EXP sitting on 2. Execute and Panthers bots both reduced down to the last remaining hopeful. Of course, you can see the players here from EXP now wrapping it up with Panthers bot as they snuck in from behind. But they are also, for the time being, the only team situated in zone.
Here we go. It does in fact look like Jalay will get there, but there is that other team. You already said they're already holding people out. I don't quite know if for solo here, the last one live from X-Fate, if Execute's going to be able to continue, but EXP, Jalay, I have a feeling it's going to be down to them. I'm a little bit worried for Jalay because I feel like the only thing that could happen with that solo is maybe they'll take some shots at them in the back. And it looks like Fate is now running for it. We'll see exactly what happens. It's going to unfold now, and this is going to be the very last fight that they engage in.
Yes, indeed, it is going to be, and I'm not quite sure whether or not Fate is going to be able to beat that big, bad blue zone as it now starts moving on forward. Of course, Jalay trying to get away from that building as they're looking to just move their butts into zone, but EXP just looking to set up a great gatekeep on the edge. Oh, Fate trying to make the run, just narrowly makes it in for the time being. Able to hide behind a little bit of that ridge line, but with that, unfortunately, the devastating blows come through, and now it is going to be our final 2 duos to face it off for the finish. 5 elims already for the side of Jalay, 3 coming in for the side there of EXP, but I mean, EXP, it looks like they could maybe have zone in their favor as it is a little bit closer to them, but it's pretty much smack dab in between both these teams.
I definitely think that they have the advantage because, I mean, even if they were at the same distance from the zone, right, and they both had to start moving at the same time, Jalay, I feel like they have nothing in front of them to provide them cover. At least the opposing team, they do. They have a little bit of this ridge. They're in charge at the peaks a tiny bit. They just have to wait for Jalay to start making the move. So let's see if Jalay is going to be able to do so. No way! Beautiful knock! Wait a second! And Jalay actually wins that with 1 spray. They get 2 people. That was a nuts ending there for them.
Well, Jalay just, stepping up with an absolutely big brain strat. That was absolutely insane to see. And what a way to close it out, picking up 7 elims and 887 damage. Absolutely fantastic play for Jalay. And I mean, I'm pretty sure they're quite satisfied with that performance. They were in need of those points. Coming in with 18 points into this match, now adding on to that a very comfortable 22, I believe it could be. I mean, that does some wonders for them on the overall leaderboard.
We'll have to wait and see how exactly it affects it. But even that entire game, I have to say, I felt like it kept changing based off of where the next zone would go. Be like, oh, so this team should have the advantage because of their positioning in the zone. But I feel like the other team on the complete opposite side that I felt like was going to have the hardest time still kind of ended up proving us wrong. They still were able to somehow just scrape their way into the next zone until, of course, they couldn't hold on any longer. Back down to the last two teams. And Hussey endings, they're always a good time. They're always fun to see how they're going to turn out.
Yeah, it turned out quite brutal in this one. I mean, some really difficult players coming through there. And of course, you know, we even saw the players there from Execute, Fate, just narrowly escaping the blue, making it into zone only to get taken down and get sent on back. And some pretty exciting shooting coming through once again. Of course, the zone not disappointing at all whatsoever, just keeping the players on their toes, just challenging them with where the shifts go and, you know, what kind of regions they need to play in. So we saw a challenging ending coming in on Erangel. We saw a challenging ending coming in on the side of Miramar just now. So let's see how those challenging performances have impacted our overall leaderboard. First off, we're going to be starting off with the match results to see how many points the teams were able to lock in.
Taking a look at it, the drum roll here. We knew Jalay was going to go ahead and do well. They were inside of Hacienda that entire time. They were able to pick up a really good amount of kills and the chicken dinner. 22 total points. Right below them, EXP so close to the number as well. 15 Execute. They were able to crawl their way into that third place position. They obviously got the 10 placement points and 2 kills on top of it. 12, not too shabby at all. Panthers bot. There you go. Still going on ahead and gaining a lot of points. They got 8. Same with FSU as well with 6. Baba with 2. Hellfire 7. There's still a couple of teams that definitely aren't going to be letting their placement go without a fight.
Yeah, they're going to be bringing it all the way through, all the way to that last finishing match. And of course, Jalay, as you said, they're coming in with some fantastic stuff, and it would be pretty good for them on the overall leaderboard. I believe that should put them around about third place-ish, somewhere there, third, fourth. We'll see exactly once we move into that. But I gotta say that the consistency coming through from Execute, yes, it wasn't a chicken, but double-digit points. That is going to do some fantastic things for them on the leaderboard. As we look over onto the right-hand side, things look a little bit more scarce there. We've got M&A only with a 3-pointer. Chica iOS coming in with 4. The finisher picking up 1 point, but I don't think the finishers are too phased by the performance they had in this match. There's of course still one more to go, so we could see them still looking to step up to the plate and just bring an absolutely insane play with that. Of course, the players there from the Masatos coming in with their 1-pointer. So definitely, you know, it is looking to be quite a challenging performance for a lot of these teams. You know, we've said this many times, duos, it's a completely different ball game.
Oh, definitely. So now I just have to see how this is going to affect, of course, the overall leaderboard, because this just boils down to one singular game left, right? This is it. Let's see where they're going to be at going into this. Execute just absolutely just knocking everybody's socks off. I mean, almost 60 points they've been able to achieve. They're taking that first place position. The finisher is still kind of holding on there, at least in second with 45. Not too far away, though. Look at that. Jalay coming in third with 40. And not again. All these gaps, though, are not big whatsoever. 37, 37, 30, 29, 28. Still a ton of people with barely any points between them. It really is those top spots, though, that are going to be duking it out for the very, very top spot. Honestly, though, Execute with 59 points, that is insane. I would be interested to see if anybody can catch that.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be possible for the finisher, Jalay, Chica, and EXP to make a run for that pole position, but they're going to have to just play an absolutely beautiful game. It is, however, going to be a little bit more challenging, but not impossible for Zero Remorse, the Panthers bots, and M&A, and even potentially the 100 to bounce back and, you know, bring in a really strong finish. But that would all be, of course, hoping that Execute or one of the other teams ahead of them are having a bad run over into Sanok. So, you know, Sanok is going to be quite a bit of a challenge, especially as we move in. And as you've said, it is still pretty close for a lot of these teams. And it's going to bring some exciting plays. But before I get ahead of myself this time around, like I did before, we also have a few of our MVPs to have a look at. I kind of saved it for now to see who our MVP team for the day will be, and it is going to be starting it off with our player there. As we can see, it comes through for the sign of Jalay as Jerry picks it up. 6 elims, 1 assist, and 915 damage dealt.
Nice. Definitely were able to convert a lot of the damage into kills. There's obviously opportunity to get more, but 6 kills, nothing to scoff at. Jerry, I mean, we saw it in this last match. Jalay, they were just on top of the roof. They were just destroying, shooting at literally everything. Not surprised to see Jerry up here. That 6 kills definitely got them to the point that they are right now. And now I want to see if they'll be able to continue it into the next match. We need to know who's going to continue the MVP for team and this player, and of course just who's going to go on ahead and jump even further up. They're in 3rd right now. Let's see if they can get higher or if they can at least maintain that position.
Well, we of course need to have a quick look and see who our MVP team is. Some really exciting plays coming through there from Jerry. I mean, they were quite ruthless moving into that final zone, just as you said, perched up high, utilizing the heck out of Hacienda del Patron. And I mean, that's at times quite an interesting play to be making, but I'm curious to see who our MVP team is going to be. I mean, this time around it could pretty much still be anyone. I think it's either Jalay or maybe EXP to come in with that MVP slot.
Not quite sure. There's definitely a couple teams I feel like this last match that end up pulling out a lot of good stats, but it will in fact be Jalay taking advantage of that Hasi rooftop, the 8 total kills. So we saw Jerry going away with 6 of those in this last game. The 8 total kills, 5 assists, 1473 damage. I mean, right when we saw them on Hasi, right when they were smack in the center, I'm just like, they got themselves a good spot. They better take advantage of it completely to start boosting their stats, boosting their points.
Oh, and they sure did exactly that. Just, bringing it home, capitalizing on that beautiful position that they found themselves in. But of course, that is now going to bring us to the end of our second match. Some beautiful PUBG being played once again, and we are now just inching our way even closer to the final match. This is going to be match 6 of the grand finales for the Valentine Royale. So be sure to join us right back after the break as we get into a little bit of that crazy Sanok action.
of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts, Spider-Man's control, and Batman with his fits. And clearly I don't see myself upon that list. But she said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gift, some superhero, some fairy something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this. I want something just like this. I want something just like this. I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, the testaments they told, the moon and its eclipse, and Superman unrolls a suit before he lived. But I'm not the kind of person that it fits. She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss. Just something I can turn to, somebody I can miss. I want something just like this. I want something just like this. I want something just like
It's time for us to get into the final match of today. It is going to be time for a little bit of that hot and sweaty jungle action to come through right on towards Sanok. Now, we've already seen Erangel and Miramar being quite exciting with Jalay coming in with an absolutely beautiful clutch right at the end. I mean, Jerry, as we saw in the highlights, just lighting it up, finding that beautiful off-angle rotation, sneaking in with that clutching it out. So, I mean, first two games done and dusted. It is now the final one, match number 6 for the grand finale of the Valentine Royale about to take place. Now, Span, who do you think is going to come out on top of this one? Who do you think is going to be the team to step it up? Any particular team, or do you just think it's going to be a collective effort?
Not again. I'm speechless again. I can't believe this. There's a couple teams that I feel like I want to keep an eye on, right? They slowly started improving over the night, and I want to continue to keep an eye on them. One of them I do think is Delay. I mean, I feel like that they've usually are pretty consistent, but they have just been getting better and better throughout the day. Chica iOS as well have been getting more kills. They've been getting up there. They've been doing better. The Panthers bot, they found themselves, you know, from 15th to 8th to now 7th. They've been increasing. They've been getting better. So has M&A. So a specific team, again, I'm not quite sure, but there are definitely a couple of teams that have been increasing in performance as games have gone by. One of the big ones I definitely didn't mention is also Execute. I feel like at this point, I don't know if they're stoppable.
Well, yeah, they do have a considerable lead, currently sitting on about a 14-point lead, but, you know, that is changeable in one game from the side of the finisher. So we'll have to see what Sanok brings to be getting ready to hop on the plane and to see, of course, where our first zone is going to be appearing. But yeah, let's see exactly what that will bring us. We do have our players already starting to make their way on down. Some interesting positions coming in right off the bat here. We can see the players, of course, there from Fulabi and Punjabi pushing straight up into Camp Charlie. We have a nice bit of a convergence on the edge there of Quarry. Ooh, and the zone. Now also just staying over on towards that eastern side.
I like that it's at least a little bit further down to the southern side as well. I think that'll create something interesting here. But uh-oh, it looks like one person goes down. It's just down to Puppy left. There we go, a tiny bit of damage. Panthers bot, this is a team that's been doing well. They have one knocked right now. Cannot start off this way for them if they want to get higher on the board, though.
Yeah, Panthers bot going to be looking to potentially bring in those points. They are going up against Hellfire. Only 3 points currently separating these two teams. Oh. No.
That's a difficult one.
Start. That's a great start for Hellfire, though. I mean, now it's one less team for them to worry about to try and overtake. So, you know, it opens up a few possibilities for them.
Oh yeah, Hellfire needed it. They're currently in that 10th place spot. Panthers in that 7th place spot. So definitely worth it for them. So that's just unfortunate how I literally just said the Panthers bot were getting better and then that happened. I kind of feel like I cursed them. I'm gonna say that was on me, and now I'm sad now. But looks like another team is near Quarry. It's of course gonna be Zero more. So let's see if they might end up running into each other. I don't know if Hellfire, if they keep wanting to kill the people right above them, Zero more definitely is a good next target. Just paint that on their back there. But we'll have to wait and see if that's really what they're gonna be running into. But also, I didn't even notice this. Looks like there's two teams in Paradise, Cookie Crumbs. Let's see if they're going to end up finding the enemy here, or if maybe they're just going to leave this situation. I don't know. Will they get the jump start? Dreamin' yesterday, for their very last match, he was actually our MVP. So, Dreamin', I don't know if I would really want to mess with him on this map, not going to lie.
Yeah, I mean, Chica iOS currently sitting up in 4th place, sharing that position with, you know, EXP. So, that could be quite an interesting play for Chica iOS to be making, but also we do see the players there from the 100 looking to move a little bit further on up. They find themselves in a very kind of similar position as Hellfire, only 2 points separating the 100 and other players there from Hellfire. So yeah, let's see where they're going to be going with the action. But meanwhile, players here from Chica iOS looking to just you know, disengage potentially from that Paradise position, and I think this is a good call for them to make, as they know Paradise can be at times a little bit of a hot position, depending of course on where that zone has shifted. But you know, for this time, better be safe than sorry, because if they have a good game, it can mean some pretty fantastic things for them.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, like, if you get the early kills, it's, like, exhilarating, right? And maybe that'll bring you the confidence for the rest of the match. But also, like, if it were to go even slightly wrong, like, you could lose half of your team in a duos game. So I don't quite know if that's worth it. Much safer approach is, of course, to just stay alive for as long as possible, get the placement points, get the kill points from the later game, and ensure everything that way. And I think leaving actually was a great idea, because if you actually look back towards Paradise, looks like another team decided to kind of roll up on top of them. FSU almost did as well. So if they ended up getting in a fight down there, they definitely would have been third, maybe even fourth partied. And that would have not been a great situation whatsoever. Let's see, though, if FSU, if they're going to be able to spot out Striker Season or Critch up there, if they want to take that fight, they're definitely attempting to camp out Paradise here with this positioning.
Yeah, I mean, FSU, the 100, it can still swing either which way. And of course, we do see Archenko off in the distance from the Cookie Crumbs. So I'm curious to see whether or not FSU and Cookie Crumbs could potentially be fighting each other, or maybe even if both of these teams focus their efforts onto the 100, because currently the 100 are positioned smack dab between the two of them.
Just have to wait and see. Slowly crawling forward. Only one team really in Paradise now. Honestly, I feel like Strikers and Chris, they're just going to be running right behind the other two teams that we literally just saw leave Paradise. FSU, though, seems like they're going to be a little bit slower on that trail as well, because they're, instead of walking everywhere, they're kind of like crawling everywhere, you know? Chilling out, just waiting to see if they're gonna run into anybody. But they're fine for right now. And it also seems like, wait a second, it looks like 100 actually getting really close to Paradise as well. They're kind of backing up at this point. We see Dreamin' in the distance as well. Again, kind of spooky. I wouldn't want to run into him whatsoever. Oh, the chase is definitely happening. Cookie Crumbs wants this so bad.
Yeah, please cue the music. There it is. Of course, now Cookie Crumbs trying to catch up to the 100, just up ahead of the 100. Have no idea the Cookie Crumbs are hot on their heels. Oh, look at this. Come on, Archer. Yes, indeed. Strikes down onto Strike. It does find a little bit of damage. Nothing too crazy, but ooh, Butterfly. You know, it might float like a butterfly, but it stings like a butterfly as well. As we can see some pretty crazy hits coming in. Butterfly and Archer now come rushing on forward. Striker, the last one left for the 100.
Oh, no.
Oh, out comes the strafing. Come on, Archer getting ready. He's got that Vector in hand. Oh.
That
Almost
trade is
there.
not good. Oh. Butterfly, no! I cannot believe that. What did I just watch? Butterfly goes down. Cookie Crumbs. They had the opportunity to make the jump on them for the longest time, and they got them stuck behind a rock, and unfortunately, it just did not go in their way, DK. That is so unfortunate for them.
Super, super unfortunate. I mean, Cookie Crumbs, they tried. They tried to play that element of surprise, and it did pay off at first. They got that first knock going. They just weren't able to follow it up onto Striker to kind of close it up. And now we are down to only 12 remaining teams. It is going to be the players here from Musatos up in the north getting ready to roll on through. We see Hypercito and Darkito coming in with their rotation. I mean, meanwhile, the players there from Execute still riding the blue out on that Camp Alpha side. But smack dab center zone, things are looking to cook up a little bit. I mean, Hellfire, they coming for that play. We can see the players there, of course, Tian and Co. just positioned a little bit further up ahead. It is going to be an interesting play to see what Chica iOS are going to be doing with their position. But of course, we do see Zero Remorse a little bit further down as well.
Oh, it looks like they're also actually shooting towards the crate. I wonder if they're trying to see if anybody down there is near it, but there's nobody down to the southern side. Sorry. So I guess that crate is theirs all the way down to the south. Meanwhile, Hellfire. They know that there's somebody here. Can't quite see him just yet. Checking out all the buildings. Once again, it's Dreamin'. I wouldn't really want to mess with Chica iOS. They are an aggressive team. They usually can win a good amount of fights, but I feel like Hellfire at this point, they're also aggressive. I mean, they got the 2 kills underneath their belt. They're in that 10th place spot. They have a lot to prove. Why not go ahead and also take out another team further up on that leaderboard? Hellfire, they're not happy with the spot they have currently. I want to see how far they can exactly go. Oh, but there's another fight happening.
Yep, Zero Remorse. Oh, and Fulabi and Punjabi now going at each other. There we go. Pilot picks up the knock. It is now going to be Pilot to try and fend off any of those potential advances coming through from Psycho as we see the rush come in. Oh, jump shot. Pilot flying himself right back into the lobby. Absolutely crazy turn of events there. I mean, normally we see the jump shot working out in favor of the person doing the jumping, but this time it kind of went the other way. Meanwhile, Hellfire are going to be perched up on the hilltop there, and Chica iOS, they know they're there.
And they don't like it. They're starting to take some shots. They're like, get out of here. That's the one downfall I feel like with this compound, right? It's in a huge bowl. So if you're in these buildings, like, you're safe. People running up on you, it's a little bit difficult because it's just out in the open. If you have an eye in every direction, you can make sure that they don't get anywhere close to you. The thing is, this is duos. So 2 people watching all those angles, I feel like is definitely more difficult. And also, though, if you want to leave and there's somebody above you, like, that's just a recipe for disaster, right? So that's going to be a little bit difficult. They could try to go ahead and get up to the northern side and disengage from up there, but at Hellfire, they're going to be able to see at least some of it and then move into a position really easily to do damage. So at this point, Chico's iOS, they're at the the hands of Hellfire, I guess you could say. Like, if Hellfire leaves, then Chico's iOS will be happy. But otherwise, they gotta wait.
Well, they're smack dab center zone. Why would they bother? You know, they can have a standoff here till the next phase pops, and they then know where they need to go next. But of course, we're going to be looking onto the other teams still making their way on through. We see M&A now rotating up on that western side. Up north, we see the players there from Masato's, and then also we've got the players there from the Finisher, as well as FSU positioned up towards the northern reach, and down on towards Bun, we've got a few more players making their way around. I think that is the 100, pretty close to the drop. Just exploring their options in that region, and even all the way down up in towards Painan. We also see the players there. I believe that was Jalay, currently still, holding on, not looking to do anything crazy just yet. But I'm pretty sure once the zones start constricting, we could see a few of the strategies now coming into play once again.
Time to wait and see. I'm just really excited to see who's gonna get the first knock here, because I feel like, if Hellfire gets a knock, they're gonna push forward, and that's gonna be terrible, right? But if it's the opposite, I feel like if Chico iOS gets a knock, I don't really 100% know if the push that they'll have will be successful. Obviously this is duos, so any sort of a push after getting a knock is usually better, because there's only one person to be able to cover and res at the same time. But right now, it's still just a standoff. At this point, I just want another team to kind of just run up on this and be like, hey, what's going on? And kind of get involved. There's definitely a lot of teams over on that western side by Painan that can go on ahead and get involved. Otherwise, there's nobody near this compound, like, at all. There's so many people to the north, there's so many people to the west, and that's, like, it. The zone, of course, doesn't go in either of those directions and goes to the east.
Oh, yeah, true PUBG fashion. It just kind of keeps everybody on their toes, and now that entirety of Lakawi is looking pretty good. I would probably move on to the hills outside of Lakawi instead of into Lakawi itself, as you have a good vantage point. You've got those valleys leading up to that eastern side, and now we see the team starting to make their way out. The zone has popped. They know they need to try and be a little proactive, get themselves situated rather sooner than later. But also we do see that hill strat still being applied, regardless of what the size of the team is, whether it's solos, duos, or squads.
Okay, I was gonna say, there's somebody zooming in front of these guys that we're watching, and it's Masato's Esports. They hardcore want to go on ahead and change their positioning here. They're literally zooming on into this eastern side of the zone. They probably identified this is a hard shift. If we get there first, we're gonna have first pick, so let's just go on ahead and go as fast as possible, get ourselves a good compound, heal on up, and prepare. That said, they actually stopped earlier than I kind of expected. They stopped on the very edge of the zone. Looks like they're maybe looting. I hope that they keep on running, because they are kind of one of the first teams all the way over here in this area, and I feel like they should take advantage of that and really set themselves up to take some fights. And we're seeing a lot of fighting actually happening at Killfee here right now too.
Yeah, Jalay losing one of their players. It is now down to Sanok. So Jerry, our MVP from the previous match, now having to warm up that lobby. But it's going to be the final shuffle. It's going to be the final play. The plays here from EXP, also sitting on those 37 points. Same as Chica iOS, having to still try and find their way on through. We've seen at least one Elam come in from them, so they're off to a pretty good start. But will we see any more now potentially come in as well?
Time to wait and see. It looks like now EXP, they're gonna have Blue Zone on their heels this entire time. Same with Jalay, just up to the northern side, right? It's gonna be a pretty difficult one from this gone forward. At least it's only Zone 4. Zone 4 is really where it starts to really hurt, but maybe they'll be able to make it all the way into Zone. And wait a second. Gremlin is all alone. Look, Fate is still just hanging out all the way on that westmost island there. I'm a little bit confused from this.
I'll go with heal strat, right?
Potentially.
Yeah, maybe taken to the extreme, I guess, because that's a really early start on it. That looks like it was already started in the first phase. It's either that or Fate has gone AFK. One of the two, right? But looking at the positioning up into the zone itself, it is looking pretty tight. M&A alongside the players there from Masatos. As we can see, Hypercito and Darkito now just taking occupation of this compound right here alongside the road. But they got to be careful because a little bit further up north, we see several more teams looking to move in. We got the finishers up north, and I mean, this is going to be such a jam-packed zone.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially since people are somehow, once again, I feel like I keep getting amazed by how well people are moving into these zones. Like they're not really running into each other or anything. They're like perfectly going into all different directions of the circle and then moving on in, grabbing themselves a spot, and then waiting until the next zone to pop. So kind of impressive. We'll have to wait and see if somebody does in fact run into each other, but this next zone, I mean, there's still 11 teams up, right? There's still, oh no, the crash, Chica, no way, the knock!
Oh, we were waiting for this fight to break out between Chica and Hellfire. We saw them in a standoff not too long ago, and now Hellfire reduced down to only Clown. I mean, that has been absolutely beautiful for Chica iOS. They were in need of bringing in those elims, and so far, Chica and EXP find themselves on a par with regards to those elims, but now Masatos come pushing up in M&A. Loses. Oh, down they go. Wow, that is super unfortunate to see, though.
That is. They were in the 8th place position. I feel like if they were able to stay alive longer, maybe they could have had something happen out of that. But unfortunately, it just is not in the cards for them, it seems. So we'll have to see if anybody else is going to be able to utilize their positioning right now to pull themselves further up this leaderboard. I mean, Masatos, right? They're in the 11th place overall. We know for a fact that a couple of the teams above them have been taken out. One of them, though, Hellfire, I mean, we still have to keep an eye on him, the solo, see how well he does in this situation. But also, at this point, there's still a lot of teams that are at the very tippy top that are still in this game. And if they don't get rid of them soon, it's not going to be good for the people right below them. Because at one point, like, if a team stays alive for too long in the game that's above you, there's just no way that you're going to be able to jump them anymore.
I have to agree with you on that one, of course. We know the finishers currently trailing by 14 points behind Execute. So Execute not having any elims come in just yet. Of course, we are still in that 4th phase, approaching the 5th. Blue Zone is making its way on through, so anything can still happen. But the finishers, we can see also playing a super cautious approach here, you know, just riding the edge of that zone, not looking to move into any compromising positions. And in their sweep of the edge, we could even see them run up into Falabi and Punjabi, who we see Psycho positioned just up ahead. But this is Sanok. I mean, Snakes, it's a big thing here. And, you know, those surprise plays can really come on in. But now, seems like Sicko is looking to push up into Quarry potentially to try and find a good position to relocate to. Oh!
I mean, I was going to say, I mean, I don't blame him as a solo, you know? Like, as a solo, that is your entire job, is just sneak into the end and be able to utilize being the last one up to your advantage, to use that sneak to mess somebody up, but unfortunately spotted out. I was kind of excited to see if a solo would get into endgame, because when that happens, sometimes it's complete and utter chaos. But it looks like Masatos Esports still alive. Zone has shifted. They're no longer inside zone, so why not just try and take out Tom and Paul real quick before they have to figure out how the heck they're gonna cross, because there's 2 teams across from them. I don't know how they're gonna make this happen.
Oh, it is looking a little bit on the devastating side. We see Paul now getting knocked out up ahead as Druggy comes in with a good retaliation for the side of EXP. And I mean, this is now pretty much the finisher going up against EXP. A little bit of those long-range fights, but right alongside them, we do see one of the players coming in there for the side of the players of, I believe that is going to be Jalay. Yeah, yeah. Manok now just inching a little bit forward. The blue zone is going to start eating away, but we're seeing a lot of stragglers now starting to appear here. Oh, Hypercito.
Okay, looks like they are able to cross. Unfortunately, lost the teammate as well, but they're still going to try. Looks like Dreaming going for a res right now. Hypercito does not want to let that happen, but unfortunately, the nade is not quite close enough. I don't even know where FSU came from, though, and looks like FSU is now coming into play here. this is going to be a difficult cross once again for them. This time, there's a ton of solos in front of them. There's Hypercito, there's Clown, and it actually looks like Jimin was able to get the rest to his teammates. So let's see if FSC really is going to be able to make this. I have a feeling it's not going to go well.
Oh, yeah. Especially with that blue zone being on them and the zone now popping up. Oh, Hypercito just capitalizing on that position. Anna and Mike. Oh, down they go. Well, it was worth the shot, right? They wouldn't know unless they try it out. Man, they did. They did. Unfortunately, it didn't go the way they would have hoped it would. But either way, a valiant effort being put forth there. But now, of course, we can see Masatos, Esports, Hypercito perched on the side. We got Chica iOS right up ahead. Oh, no team so far just yet taking a crazy lead with regards to those elims. But look at this. The finisher now starting to push on up through that quarry position, but they got to be careful because we've got its bug just there on the opposite end.
I'm actually excited if they continue to push on up. They have an opportunity to hold out 4 people from this compound, right? I mean, we can see where this zone is closing. If the finishers get up on top of that little ramp there, they can really hold out the rest of the 4 of these guys from getting into this next zone. This next zone, by the way, so far up to the northern side, completely out in the open. It's just going to be an entire forest ending. Oh man, they still have nades? This could be huge. Clown, I think, almost ended up getting that knock there. But, of course, all this noise, the finisher, I'm still really hoping that they're putting themselves in a good position here because I really think that they could capitalize off of all of this, really clean it up, and then get in a good spot.
Well, it is going to be a slow, steady approach because see Gremlin also now getting taken down at the hand of Paul. But here we are. Oh, come on. Inching their way forward. The finisher just trying to creep up this incline. Dreamin' getting down there as Hypercito finds the angle, just trying to kind of figure out which way to go is the zone. Not really leaving Hypercito with a lot of options. Oh, wow.
Here we go. Oh, man. This zone, 100, this is such a good spot. Like, especially where Critches were right now. This is such a good spot. Like, he can see everything where these teams are going before this zone starts closing. Like, he can give all the information to his teammate possible. This might be 100's game. I'm not going to lie. They just cannot mess this up. Looks like Druggy, though, he's deciding to go into that blue zone, probably going on ahead, taking head-on-head with the heal strat. The others still struggling to get in at this point. I think they're kind of a stalemate down there as 100 just waits.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with you. The 100 in a pretty sweet spot. I mean, they're on the high ground, they're in the zone, the only team currently in the zone. But, well, seeing that it is high ground and there are a few trees and rocks positioned up ahead, you could still definitely see these sneaky procedures come through as we do have Druggy there getting taken on down by the blue. Chica iOS are going to be swinging over towards the finisher. Look and see. Oh, nice little bit of damage coming in. Not too much, but that now also opens it up for the 100 to come in with a few hits of their own. Tian getting picked up. Now it all turns to Dreamin', and the 100 just perched up high, capitalizing on their position, just reaching all over the place.
Oh no, but this next one actually pulls away from 100. Okay, so they really have to go on ahead and make a move towards these 2 other teams, but they've been absolutely destroyed. No way, Dreamin' takes down the other team. He's the last one alive. It's a 1v2.
Oh, here we go. Come on, Dreamin'. Keep it together. It is going to be Strikers and Critch coming up against Dreamin'. A 1v2. Come on. Is Dreamin' going to be able to clutch it out? A lot of pressure coming in. Oh, the first knock almost in. Yes,
nice.
Now it is up to Strikers to keep up the pressure. Dreamin' taking quite a bit of damage there, but up comes the strafing. The hit.
No
the shot. Oh, the 100 take the chicken dinner from the hands of Dreamin' coming in for the side there of Chica iOS, but absolutely fantastic players. The 100 finished strong on 6 elims with only 312 damage dealt.
I don't even know. I wasn't sure who was going to go on ahead and win that, but I really did believe that 100, based off of the position that they were in, should have won that game. So honestly, I am glad that they did because I feel like that was their game to go on ahead and take for themselves, but honestly, that was way too close for comfort. I don't even know. Like, I really thought for a second, oh my god, is he really gonna get that 2v1? That would have been absolutely insane. But 100, there you go, getting that chicken dinner. They were in 9th place. I'm kind of curious to see how many points they're really going to be able to climb based off of that one, but that was a very interesting Sanok game for the very end there, I have to say, just crushing everybody towards that quarry area.
It definitely was quite satisfying to watch. I mean, we saw the finisher trying to finish strong in that match. We know that they are chasing Execute, trying to catch up to that 14-point lead that Execute had over and above them. So, you know, there's going to be quite a bit on the table here. We saw, as we had now, the 100 stepping up with a beautiful finish, and that is going to do wonders for them. We had Hellfire trying to hold it out as long as they possibly can, trying to bring in a few of these shots. I mean, we saw Chica iOS also bringing in some really interesting strategies. So at this point, I don't know who has locked it in 100% just yet. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. We'll get a pretty good idea once we get into the match standings to see what points the teams were able to bring in. But at this point, off the top of my head, I can't really say just yet.
I don't know either, just because I don't usually trust my caster math in my noggin, so we're just gonna leave that alone until, like you said, we're gonna see that overall, the match standings, and then move into that overall. All I have to say, though, is I still feel like it might be very, very close, because Execute was doing well. I mean, this last game especially, our team, the finishers, ended up doing pretty well too, so yeah, you're right, I have absolutely no clue, but I do know that even some other teams that were in towards the bottom half, or even around that 6, 9, 8, 9, 10 area, like ended up being able to stay alive pretty long.
Yeah, well, speaking of which, let's hop into our match results to see what the teams did and how many points they were able to secure themselves on this last match. And it's going to be quite exciting to see what these numbers will bring. Of course, we know who the chicken dinner winners were. That was the players there coming in from the 100. But let's have a look at the leaderboard to see what the standings are for this particular match.
Taking a look at it, looks like 100, of course, taking it away with the chicken. 21 total points. Chica iOS with 17, right behind them finishers with 14. Honestly, taking a look at this, it's just confusing me even more. Execute with +2 is the finisher. Did they get enough to go ahead and jump Execute, or did Execute save it with that +2? Not quite sure, but still, we end up seeing EXP, Masato's Esports, Delay, Hellfire, all of those guys end up kind of showing up at the very end here, gaining a good amount of points before going into this very last match. I mean, that is a good thing to see. I'm curious though, oh man, I don't know. Even that big points, 21 points coming in from 100, I don't know where they're gonna land either.
Well, I don't wanna say it just yet. I'll wait for the overall leaderboard, but it's close. It is.
Oh yeah.
It is pretty dang close. It's gonna come down to 2 points, right? Just based off of my math that I can see. It's gonna be coming down to 2 points. The separating factor between first and second place. So yeah, it has been absolutely neck and neck. Even this last match was so entertaining to watch. The teams just really bringing it in, you know, just the 100 holding their own all the way through. I mean, Chica just playing absolutely beautiful angles. We had the finisher coming in with that cheeky, sneaky approach through the quarry itself. Some phenomenal gameplay really being showcased here. But of course, we have to take a look at the overall leaderboard to get an idea of, you know, what the final results are. And we're building suspense. There we go.
Oh man.
Difference. Yep. It gets handed to Execute. Those 2 points they brought in the last match was just enough for them to secure pole position. But of course, the finisher making up what the difference was. They were trailing by 14 points. They got their 14 points. They brought it to the table. Of course, Chica iOS coming in with absolutely fantastic play once again, securing themselves that 3rd place with the 100, leaping all the way from 9th place up into 4th. Absolutely fantastic play.
Well, I cannot believe you're right. Execute got those 2 points. Execute is, of course, running away with that title of the Valentine Royale winners. Got themselves a piece of that humongous prize pool there. Of course, all the way down to 6th place, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of these guys pretty happy about this. Execute finisher, Chica iOS, 100, EXP, and Jalay. Honestly, taking a look at their points, again, super close, but these guys really were able to kind of pull away from the pack after a while.
Yeah, I mean, they just executed their plan so well, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters, you know, whether or not the strategy that you come into actually works out. So, yeah, well done. But I gotta also then, I gotta give a big shout out to all these teams, right? These are, after our 3 weeks of qualifiers, the final duos that made it through into the finals, right? Now they've entertained us with some really surprising gameplay. We saw a lot of dominating performances coming in from a lot of these teams. I mean, we were entertained all the way through, and now bringing all of that up into the grand finale, just, you know, it was just the cherry on top, just that extra little bit more, you know, because we were left, I was at least left craving even more action after those first few qualifying weeks. And you know, this was really satisfying to see all the teams stepping up onto the battlefield once again, bringing along with that some really interesting PUBG strategies, some really interesting maneuvers. And you know, duos, it is not an easy mode to play. It is like halfway between solo and squad, but it's nothing like either of those.
You're not wrong whatsoever. I mean, usually when squads happen, right when they get down to 2 or 1, I say, okay, this is where the game changes completely for them. This is where they just go on ahead and hide and take things slow and see how far they can get in the game, you know? But this time, the entire thing is duos. It is much harder. Right when your teammate gets knocked, you gotta be on your A game, take that 2v1, or at least kind of delay them long enough to get your teammate back up. It's difficult. So watching these guys, I have to say, I feel like we got to see actually good improvement or some interesting choices happen after watching these guys for a while. And one of them I feel like particularly comes to mind is Chico iOS. They're the team that came into this just getting 1 billion kills and no placement points, but definitely by the end they were achieving both.
Yeah, I mean, some really good stories being told here by the teams. As we've been, as you pointed out, we've been watching them come all the way from the qualifiers, making their way through, you know, week after week, playing it out, securing those slots. You know, if they didn't make it the first week, we see them potentially come back the second or third week, trying again. So some really good players, good improvement coming in from a lot of the duos here. And you know, it was absolutely exciting and fantastic to watch all of them to step up, play some beautiful PUBG. I mean, that is why we enjoy watching teams play and just go absolutely crazy. We had some surprising zones come through as well, a new one that I haven't seen in a very long time, I think ever. So yeah, definitely some really fantastic stuff having it being brought to the surface here. And I gotta say, like, much love going out to all these players. I mean, they brought it in, but the last one, as per usual, right? We have to take a look to see who our MVPs are on this last match. Who's going to be the one to walk away with that title? Is it going to be potentially one of the players coming in from the 100? We don't know just yet, but it could be because they were just hitting so hard, moving on through some beautiful laser plays. So without further ado, let's have a look and see who our MVPs are.
Well, it looks like Money and Hellfire, excuse me, being the overall MVP for the teams. We saw them absolutely running around and dominating in this last match, so I'm not surprised. 12 kills, 1795 damage in total coming into this. I mean, we saw them just getting the first 2 kills. They're just like, okay, they definitely came here to kind of go ahead and play, and they started just wiping out a ton of other people as well.
Yeah, I mean, like a ton of people. That's quite an accomplishment in a duos event, right? Because there's not necessarily always that many people to go up against. So going in with a really high with high elims, that's an achievement in and of itself. So yeah, big congrats going out there to Hellfire. 12 elims and 1795. I would have liked to see 5 more damage being dealt just to make it an even number, but I guess that's just kind of, you know, the way it goes. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So yeah, well done to Hellfire for taking the MVP team slot. But now it's on to the MVP player. We might have gotten a little bit of a sneak peek there, and yes, indeed, we did. It is going to be Manny coming in with those 4 elims and contributing 941 damage to the grand total.
Yeah, it looks like they were able to really go on ahead and help out their team, especially coming into this last match. And I mean, they were able to get themselves into that top, into the prize pool. So definitely worth it.
Yeah, it has definitely been worth it. But yeah, I mean, I got to say though, just looking at how the players from Hellfire played this last bit, it was a really interesting strategy once again being applied. I mean, I also got to commend Hellfire, right? Not only in Sanok did they try out several different things, but we saw that come through on Murmur, where they did that as well. You know, up on towards that position in San Martin, just wreaking absolute havoc from there. I mean, even Erangel brought with it a few surprising plays.
But all in all, I have to say, DK, I think that is just a big GG's to everybody who played. A congratulations to our Valentine Royale winner, the top one, and of course the rest of those that are able to share in that prize pool. But that's it, DK. That's the end of the event, our first Valentine Royale ever. And thank you guys so much for participating. Is there anything you want to say, DK, before we end this off?
Yeah, just a big congrats to Execute for walking away with a beautiful victory there. And yeah, big shout out to all the teams. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Thank you to everyone for watching. And with that, we're gonna close it out for tonight. Thank you to Span as well and the production team, of course. You know, the usual stuff. We always say thank you, but thank you once again. Really, really appreciate it, and we'll look forward to seeing you all back in the next one.